Lord Tremendous here. Got a battle report here for you. Battle report number 36. 'Tis I, Lord Tremendous of the Ogre Cons, versus Big Daddy of the Orcs and Goblins. Yes, this is the same Big Daddy of the Orcs and Goblins that beat my ass in the last game I played against him. We've both re-racked, changed our lists up somewhat, and came together for this beautiful 2,500 point game of kick the other opponent's teeth down their throat. It's excellent. So yeah, sit back, relax, and get ready to see how this one goes. Here's my list, and there has been some changes, so pay attention. I have my Lord, my Great Shaman Skaz, Skaven and AZ. He's a level 4 wizard. He's got the Demon Heart. He's got the Talisman of Greater Shielding, the Charm of Cursed Icon, and he's using the Path of Alchemy. He is not my general. I have a con for that. Same leadership, both 8, so it's my choice. Gave him the Charm of Cursed Icon just because I'm tired of I guess I shouldn't say I'm tired. I'd like to give at least one of my units a little bit of a save against artillery weapons. You know, anything that comes from a big, weapons team type of situation. He's got demonic swords and everything like that. Most of the rest of his kit is the same as he usually gets. I gave him the 5-up ward save, the Supreme Shielding Talisman, because he's now using the Path of Alchemy. Butchery used to heal him. Now that he's using Alchemy, he needs some sort of protection, so now he's got a 5-up ward. So that should work out. And I'm trying out Alchemy simply because I want to give the other lores a chance just to see how I feel about them. Or, just go back to Butchery, and at least I'll know for sure it's the best lore for me. Next up, I've got my hero choices. This is my general. He is a Khan Berserk. The reason he's my general is because honestly, he's not going to miscast himself off the table. Let me put it that way. He's got the Kingslayer, the Hardened Shield, Gem of Dragonfire, and Troll Eater. I did this because this gives him a 3-up. He's got the Kingslayer, and I really like that weapon. And then, of course, Troll Eater and Dragonfire, they just go together. He's got a 5-up usually, and then a 2-up when he doesn't get the 5-up. It's a great combo. It's a cheap combo, and I'm going to use it because it makes sense. So, yeah, this is my new general, plus the model's just badass, so... This is what I'm going with, damn it. Next up, I have my Khan. He's still my BSB. He's got the Flesh Render, he's got the Mithril Mail, and he's got the Talisman of Lesser Shielding. This has been the absolute perfect kit for this guy. I don't intend to change it. I had to drop Rotten Jaw off him in order to afford something else later on in the list, but you know what? Even without poison attacks, this guy is still a face melter. Of course, last but not least, I still have my Mammoth Hunter, Lord Tremendous. He's got an Iron Fist, the Ogre Crossbow, Armor of Fortune, Lucky Charm, Oroc's Charm, Headhunter, and he's on his trusty Tusker, the War Teddy. This is a new kit that I'm trying out at the suggestion of one of my subscribers. It was a solid suggestion. The kit idea is good. He made an observation that a lot of people have made that stupidity on Lord Tremendous is bad. Troll Eater is nice and all that, but yeah, the stupidities that I keep failing because of it are hurting me, losing me, possibly games and stuff like that. So I decided to take that off of him and use the kit that the individual suggested, and we get to find out. I already know, but you get to find out how this goes. Alright, for my core choices, I still have my unit of 7 tribesmen, Skaz's Spazzes. They have a full command, Iron Fists. That's it. That's all they need, because they're raw awesome. My second unit of 7 by tribesmen, the Good Old Boys. They have a banner, musician, Iron Fists, and the banner of discipline. I had to lose the unit champion in this unit in order to fit the banner of discipline into the army, but it is what it is. And this is so that my general has leadership 9. It's an old trick, but it works. Then I have a unit of 15 scraplings with banner and short bows, and these guys are just to hold objectives and beat chaff if necessary. And then I have a second unit of 15 scraplings with banner and short bows. Starting off my special choices, I have my new saber-toothed tiger, the Bow Wowzer, and this is just a cool model I found and decided I liked them better than spiders. And then, of course, I still have my 5 Scrappling Trappers, the favored pets. You knew they weren't going anywhere. Then I have my unit of 5 Mercenary Veterans. They have Banner, Musician, Iron Fist, Lethal Strike, Bodyguard, and the Stalker Standard. And you may notice a couple of new things about this unit. Number 1, all new models. I've gotten pretty much all the models I need for this army now. I think there might be 1 or 2 I still need to get, but I'm starting to rearrange them. And as you've noticed, there's no more AOS models in this for at all. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I now have a pretty much all ogre army, and as such, the mercenary veteran unit is no longer the Storms of Retribution. I'm going to have to try to think of a new name for them. If you have a suggestion and I like it, I might use it. So throw in the comment section if you'd like, and maybe I'll get lucky and get to name my unit. Who knows? Finally, in the end of my special choices, I have 4 Bombardiers with a Musician, so they can swift reform and kick ass. Starting off my rare choice, I have a Thunder Cannon, and if you're wondering why, you should go back and watch my 3,000 point game against Cannon of Doom. That's why I moved points around in order to get this cannon on the table. I dropped my Great Khan down to a regular Khan, and I lost Rotten Jaw out of the army in order to fit this guy in, and you know what? He was worth every sacrifice. And then, of course, the model that needs no introduction, the Frost Mammoth, Rufus! He's got a couple of ogre crossbows on his back, but yeah, this guy, lowering your initiative, slamming into you with strength 6, toughness 6, that just terrifying grin on his face. Absolutely love this guy. He will never leave my list. Even if it's only a 500 point list and I legally can't take him, I'm going to take him. That's going to do it for my list. Next up is my opponent's list. Going to play some music. Feel free to pause it at any time so you can see what he took. Here are my spells, which are exactly what you're looking at. Notice I am using the alchemy spells. And here's deployment. Already, my opponent deployed all of his stuff first, so I was able to set up pretty much knowing exactly knowing where everything of his was going to be. So on my left flank there, I've got my Thunder Cannon in the ruins. I figure he's not going to have to move, he's not going to have to march. If he does, he's screwed. He's going to take 4 DT2 tests and probably blow himself up, but until then, he's got hard cover. He should be okay. That's my thought process. I got Lord Tremendous in the middle there. His job is to go after the War Machine Hill unless another target of opportunity presents itself. My opponent does have his Lord on a Huntsman Spider, I think it is, on the left, our left flank there. It depends where he goes with him. If Tremendous can charge him, he's got to. If not, I can get into War Machine Hill and start just tearing all that up, hopefully before it does any real damage. I've got my Trappers in the ruins in the middle of the table there, slightly to the left, and that's obvious why. That whole thing is a DT test nightmare for him, hopefully. I've got my Merc Vets with my BSB in the middle. I've got my Bow Wowzer Sabertooth Dogs in the middle because he's got 2 big units of Goblins, and I know he's got Mad Gits. And after what happened the last time I faced him, Mad Gits scare the hell out of me. So as you can see on the right there, I've got both my units of 15-man Scraplings moving up. They're going to move straight towards those goblins, and they're going to sacrifice themselves so that the Mad Gits have to come out and hopefully kill everything before it's too late. Because, yeah, I am not about to lose my mercs to 3 Gits. Not again. Speaking of which, I've got my tribesmen behind my scraplings and my Bow Wowser guy for just that reason. That way, once the Mad Gits come out, I can deal with them with hopefully magic and shooting. What's his face? Rufus is behind my Merc Vets to support them in any combat they get into, and my Bombardiers on the right there are going to try to take out his Goblin Wrecking Team or any Mad Gits that come out of the Goblin units. That's what I was thinking about during deployment. So here's top 1 after movement, and like I said, my opponent went first because he finished all his deployments. And for the most part, his stuff starts coming down and to our right. I believe he was going after the enemy, yeah, because that's where I was. I kind of did a semi-denied flank, which I'm proud of because that wasn't the plan. Anyway, so yeah, his trolls, his savage orcs in the middle there, right next to him is the Great Green Idol. Everything's pretty much shooting forward. His Goblin Wrecking Team or whatever. They shoot over to the left, kind of bouncing around. He's kind of got him stuck back there. He doesn't want the Bombardiers to shoot him up and take him off table before they can do anything. Not a terrible logic there, because that's exactly what I was going to try to do. Obviously his war machines don't move anywhere, and the other unit of goblins try to sneak in between the ruined house and the hill there, trying to get into position so that he can fire off his Mad Gits in an opportune way, I assume. Other than that, his Goblin King on a Huntsman Spider, I believe, on the left flank there, shoots straight towards my cannon. And that's when I know Lord Tremendous is going to have to sacrifice himself for the greater good. He's going to have to get into combat with this guy and probably be stuck in combat with him all game because they're very evenly matched. Nothing I can do for it. I have to go in there, and at least I don't have to worry about a stupidity check before he makes the charge. So that's pretty much it for movement. During the magic phase, he tries to get the little goblin spell off, the little small template one, and I stop it. And then right behind that, he fires off the shadow spell, like Devouring Darkness or something like that. And it goes off, direct hits on my Merc Vets, and kills one guy and puts 2 ones on it. So there's 5 wounds total with it. That was not as bad as it could have been because he hit everybody. I got really lucky. I'll take what I can get, but man, I've really got to do a better job of stopping those spells. Nothing else happens in Magic, so we go into shooting. All 3 of his skewers fail to hit, and then his Git launchers, they both misfire, one right after the other, and they were both firing at my mercenary vets. So that was something else. They both misfired. They also both roll the same misfire result, which is just they take a wound with no armor or with no saves of any kind allowed. So each of them take a wound instead of shooting top of 1. I'll take it. So with that, here we are in bottom of 1 after movement. And I come up slightly hesitant. Not slightly, just very hesitant. With the exception of Lord Tremendous. On the left side there, he charges his goblin on the spider and makes it. Needed a 8 or a 9 to hit him and just blew it out of water. God, I love Tuskers. Anyway, the rest of my stuff, my, trappers move up to get in the way of the trolls. I want the trolls in the dangerous terrain. I know they got a 4-up regen against it, but if they're in the dangerous terrain, then they got to take the rolls. They could take some damage, and they're stuck. Plus, they wouldn't be steadfast or anything in the ruins, and you're crazy to think I wouldn't send my Merc Vets into them, even with the DT tests. Actually, never mind. My Mercs wouldn't have to worry about it. My dog moves up to kind of try to bait the Savage Orcs. I wouldn't run with the dog. I'd let him hit the dog, I'd let him overrun, and then I'd put my Merc Vets into their flank. It'd be perfect. I'd be fine with it. If his Great Green Idol charges the dog, same thing. I'm going to get beautiful counter charges against it. My scraplings on the right there, I moved the right unit up that's full 8 inches. I moved the other unit up only 4 so I could shoot at the goblins. I figure I'd start taking pot shots at them now. I really only need 1 unit to pull out the Mad Gits, so why not? The Bombardiers move up in order to shoot the goblins as well, because that's the only target they have. And everything else just pretty much stays where it's at, including the cannon, which is getting ready to target some war machines. That's it for movement. There's a better picture of Lord Tremendous slamming into Link and Zelda, and hopefully I can hold my own here long enough that my cannon can do some work before Link and Zelda get a hold of it and start beating it to Triforce hell. During the magic phase, I just get enchanted blades off on the bombardiers, makes it easier for them to hit and gives them an extra armor piercing value, which is nice. I mean, they're just shooting at goblins, but I wanted to get the commandment of iron off the lore attribute spell in order to give one of my units +1 armor save. Nothing else happens in Magic, so we go into shooting, and my Bombardiers and my Scraplings, I think they're all in range. They fire at the Goblins, and I think I'm able to kill 5 of them. There's 60 of them, so it's a small dent, but it's a dent nonetheless, and I'll take it. Then over here, my crazy-ass trappers actually get a wound through on the trolls, which I just found hilarious. And then the cannon takes aim at the Git launchers, fires, hits, and is able to wound and do max wounds to the first Git launcher. I do remember that it goes through a line. It hits the other Git launcher, but it's only strength 5 and was not able to damage the toughness 7 Git launcher. So 1 out of 2 ain't bad. They took a whole bunch of panic checks and they're all fine. But I'm quite pleased with the cannon. That is, it's still accurate and it's still kicking ass. So we go into combat over here, and Lord Tremendous not only is able to save all the wounds that Link does to him, but he's able to slip 2 wounds past Link and Zelda's armor and ward save. So charge and 2 wounds, I won by 3. Shocked the hell out of me because I expected he had like a 1-up, 4-up, something crazy like that, and he took 2 wounds. Almost killed him flat out. Tremendous is a badass. So Link and Zelda break, and Tremendous runs him down. He goes 11 inches.
You in my house, motherfucker!
Couldn't believe it. So Link and Zelda are no longer a threat. My cannon's going to basically have free reign to do whatever he wants, and a huge threat has been removed from the table. The only problem I have with what's going on here is now Lord Tremendous is literally in a firing alley. The Mad Gits could possibly get thrown out from the goblins right there, and I've got 3 skewers that are going to just light him up next turn. So if he can weather that, though, War Machine Hill is his. So with that, we go over here to top of 2 after movement, and there is a little bit. He charges with his Savage Orcs, I believe, at my what's it called? Bow Wowzer, my Saber-Tooth Tiger, Saber-Tooth Doggy, sorry, and I stand, and then he charges with his Great Green Idol, and I flee, and I bounce through the Mercs, and Rufus can get away. He's insignificant, so neither of those units care. Other than that, I don't believe he charges anywhere else. His trolls stay right where they're at because he forgot all about the trappers and didn't realize they were blocking his way, so that's awesome. The goblins near Lord Tremendous try to get away from him, but they fail their march check because they're within 8. They fail it. They cannot move far enough away from him, so he will be coming out during his shooting phase at Lord Tremendous. That kind of sucks. And everything else that he has, like the big unit of goblins, they move forward a little bit. He knows what I'm trying to do, and well, it's gonna happen probably, so we'll see. And then his wrecking team goes back over to the right. He's behind that impassable terrain over there right next to the big unit of goblins because he's not really sure where to go. If he lets him out, I'm going to shoot at him. So I think he's waiting until I get into combat with one of these units to send him through that. That's basically it for movement. There's a better picture of his feral orcs and his Great Green Idol failing a charge. During his magic phase, he gets like 10 dice to my 5 or something like that. So I pop the heart, and the first spell that he casts, I dispel, but he rolled doubles. And per the FAQ, even if the spell doesn't go off and the heart is there, if you roll doubles, you roll in the miscast chart. So there it is. The spell didn't go off, and he has to roll in the miscast chart. And he's up miscasting 9. The results of which get both of his casters 1 wound on him. And he loses 3 more dice. So he lost 6 out of his 10 dice on 1 spell that didn't even go off. I've said it once, I'm going to say it again. The Demonic Heart is the best arcane item in the game, bar none. I love that thing. My opponent was not done casting. He gets the Devouring Darkness spell off again. I think that's what it's called. He aims for my Merc Vets, but as you can see, it ends up, what's it called? Moving 6 inches down and hits Rufus right on the head. But I get lucky and finally pass an initiative check. So, yeah. Rufus sidesteps the Devouring Darkness because he is all that is awesome. He is literally the embodiment of perfection, and the spell doesn't hurt him. God, Rufus is the man. So we go into the shooting phase, and if you're not familiar with it, when it comes to Mad Gits, when there is an enemy unit within 8 inches of a goblin unit with Mad Gits in it, if they're not engaged in combat, they have to release their Mad Gits. And how you do that is you put the Mad Gits in base-to-base contact with the parent unit, and then fire them off 2d6 inches in a predetermined direction. It doesn't say where in the unit has to touch, so he put him in the back and faced him towards Lord Tremendous. Totally legal. One bounces through Lord Tremendous, the other one falls a little short. The one that bounces through does, I think 5 hits and does a few wounds, and one actually gets through. I have Troll Leader, so there is, I'm sorry, not Troll Leader. I have Headhunter on him, so I can recover the wound. I just got to get him into combat first. So if I can just weather the upcoming shooting phase, maybe I can get him into some War Machines and heal that wound before he dies. So his skewers take aim and fire. First one hits, wounds, and I regen. Second one hits, wounds, does a wound. Not because of the Arak's Charm, just because he rolled a 2. So he did 1 wound to him. And then the third one rolls and hits and does 3 wounds, which gets negated down to 2 because the Stone Skin special rule, but it's still enough. Tremendous only has 4 wounds, and he dies. He did weather 3 skewer shots. He did eat it up pretty good. He did get some Fanags pulled out. He did kill Link and Zelda, so he definitely got his points and his use this stick game, but it always breaks my heart when Tremendous goes, face down in the dirt. His Git launcher then rears up, takes aim, and misfires. Yet again, 3 misfires in a row for these guys. Yeah, the Dice Gods giveth, and the Dice Gods taketh away. And right now they are givething. So, yeah, he rolls on the chart, rolls a 1, and the Git launcher is no longer launching Gits this game. It doesn't die or anything like that, but it will sit back and watch the rest of this battle with its thumb up its butt, which I am 100% okay with. So with that, we go over here to bottom of 2 after movement, and there is a little bit. My Merc Vets try to charge the Great Green Idol. I wanted to try to take that out. I have a lot of attacks. I know it's toughness 8. I know I'm going to have to hit it with a lot of attacks in order to roll 6s, but if I roll any 6s, he's going to get no armor save, no regen, and I don't believe it had a ward. So bottom line is charge, bunch of wounds, or bunch of attacks, bunch of impact hits, banner, BSB, maybe I can break this thing, run it down, and with even more luck, maybe I can slam into the flank of those goblins before they can do anything to me, before they can release their gits. That would be huge. Unfortunately, my Merc Vets did not get the memo, and I rolled piss poor to charge, and I fall short by a solid 2 inches. Really sucked, because now they're way exposed to both the Idol and the Savage Orcs. Luckily, it's still in the front. Luckily, my Trappers are still blocking the Trolls, but damn it! That would have been so perfect. In a desperate attempt to save my Merc Vets, I move both units of Scraplings up 8 inches. The ones on the left are trying to block the Idol. The ones on the right are trying to release the Gits. My Bombardiers and Skazaspazes hold back a little bit because I don't know where the Mad Gits are going to end up. My General's unit moves up just slightly just to try to give a little leadership bubble, but again, he doesn't want to get hit by the Mad Gits. Rufus chases after the Merc Vets because they're going to need all the help they can get. And my Sabertooth Doggy, the Bow Wowser, he actually rallies on his own leadership and then turns around, ready to redirect yet again. That's really it for movement. There's a better picture of my Merc Vets not making their charge. Also, Rufus tried to charge the Savage Orcs. In order to do that, the Merc Vets would have had to make their charge. It was Swift Stride. I thought I had it. Unfortunately, I was wrong. And the reason I want to send Rufus in there is, number one, I knew he couldn't beat the Savage or the Feral Orcs. Maybe he could beat them in combat, but I figured eventually they would beat him down. It's just a lot of attacks. What I was hoping for, though, is Rufus getting in there and smashing his level 4 wizard to death before he can get another one of those template spells off. But since the Merc Vets failed their charge, Rufus failed his, and here we are. During the magic phase, I'm able to get Blizzard off on the Feral Orcs, and I do that because I'm trying to give my Merc Vets as much help as they can. They'll be -1 leadership, -1 to hit, they'll be hitting me on 5s, maybe I can get lucky. And then I get Enchanted Blades off on the Bombardiers yet again, but it doesn't matter because nothing happens in shooting. I just roll poorly. What can you do? It's funny because I actually roll, I need a 6, I think, to hit. I shoot at one of the skewers with my cannon, and I roll a 6 to hit. It was beautiful, and then I rolled a 1 to wound. It was like, well, you know what? I'm hitting, and that's really all I've asked for. So with my phase being basically ineffectual, we go over here to top of 3 after movement, and lo and behold, the Feral Orcs charge into the Merc Vets. No problem. Make it by a mile. And that's not the worst thing in the world that could happen because I'm still going to try to kill off his Mega Caster, if for no other reason than to cut his amount of spells in half. The rest of his stuff moves up accordingly. The trolls charge the trappers and make it no problem. The goblins charge the trappers and make it no problem. They do take three or 4 casualties to DT checks. The trolls aren't in the terrain yet, so they don't take them. I would have backed the trappers up, but they needed to block the trolls' charge, and they did their job well. I'm proud of them. Other than that, the big unit of 60 goblins come forward, and they're going to release their Mad Gits. Nothing I can do about that. I wish it had been a little bit further back, but, you know, what can you do? And other than that, I think his wrecking team guys come back over to the left. They just seem to be bouncing back and forth. And his Great Green Idol just kind of stays stationary. I think that was due to a misunderstanding of the rules on my opponent's part. He thought the Green Idol just had to be close in order to get the devastating charge or +1 to wound benefit from it, but it actually has to be in close combat for that to occur. So he should have charged my Scraplings or something like that. Not, you know, a huge big deal, not game-changing or anything like that, but just a rules verification issue that was rectified immediately. There's a better picture of the Merc Vets being charged by the Feral Orcs. See, the Feral Orcs are just showing my Merc Vets how to friggin' charge. And they did it with 2 dice. Damn it, Merc Vets, you're better than this. There's also a piss-poor picture of the Trolls and the Goblins charging into my Trappers. So at least you know where everything's at. Nothing happens during magic, so in shooting, the Mad Gits release. They all kind of go away from that far right corner there, bouncing through my, what's it called? Scraplings, killing 4 from the right unit and 3 from the left. What ended up happening is the first one that he rolled after the unit on the left came out from where his caster is, and he rolled Snake Eyes, and I was 3 inches away. He did stop within an inch of that unit, so he still passed through them. However, per the way the rules are written, and I'm pretty sure we did this right, since the unit was not in the 2-inch range that he rolled, because he rolled Snake Eyes for it, it still bounces through the unit because it was within an inch of a unit, but only units that are within the range that was rolled actually take hits. So he bounces through the Scraplings without doing any damage to them. It's a little weird, but per the way the rules are written, I think we did it right. Please correct me in the comments section if we did this wrong. We go into combat, and it's not a great showing for the Merc Vets, but it's not the worst showing I've ever had either. I lose one of my Merc Vets. He does 2 wounds to me. In return, I kill 4 of the Feral Orcs, one of which is the unit champion, and I kill his caster, doing another 2 wounds to it. So I felt good about that. I think I lose this combat. I'm not 100%. He charged, he's got 3 ranks, he's got a banner, and he's got 2 wounds. I did 4 wounds to the unit, and 2 wounds to the character, and I have a banner, and I have a BSB. So actually, yeah, I won this combat by 1. He's steadfast, and he makes his break check no problem. In combat over here, these poor trappers. They did actually get to attack, and I put the one attack that I got into the goblins against his unit champion because he was in face-to-face, and I killed him. So the trappers were on an assassination mission to kill the goblin unit champion and pulled it off. In return, they were ruthlessly cut down for their troubles, and they died where they stand. In order to avoid dangerous terrain checks, both units just reform like so. And then we go over to bottom of 3 after movement. I do some stupid stuff here. My scraplings charge into the flank of the savage orcs, and the other unit of scraplings charge into the unit of 60 goblins, so that Skaz and his spazzes could have an alleyway long enough to charge into the goblins, the 60-man brick of goblins, and start working down that unit. That was the plan. That's the way it was supposed to go. Both units of scraplings made their charges no problem. You want to know who didn't make this damn charge? Skaz and his spazzes. Skaven and AZ, it's starting to feel a little personal. I'm not going to lie to you, brother. Oh, well. Other than that, Bow Wowser moves up to start trying to... I want to intercept either the goblins or the trolls with him just to keep them out of this fight a little bit longer. Rufus moves up to keep the feral orcs at -3 initiative, so I get all my attacks. And other than that, there's really no movement. There's a better picture of Scraplings doing what they're supposed to do, and a better picture of Skaven and AZ and his spazzes not doing what they're supposed to do. For shame, sir. During the magic phase, in order to not give up too much combat res with my scraplings, I get Quicksilver Cloak off on them, and then I put the Commandment of Iron on the Merc Vets, just so that I can hopefully win this combat against the Feral Orcs. I'll have you know I was able to cast this spell on 2d6, and I rolled boxcars. So I end up rolling a miscast 4, which kind of sucks, but at the same time, it could have been a lot worse. In the end, I hit Skaz and I think 4 of his spazzes, and end up taking 2 wounds because it's strength 4 to their toughness 4. So I also lose 2 more dice from the power pool, but I still got a few extra, and I use those dice to get Transmutation of Gold off on the trolls. And after ignoring the first 5 that he rolled, my opponent still killed 3 trolls, because your opponent's supposed to roll it in the order he chooses. So yes, Transmutation of Gold killed 3 trolls, and that was after ignoring the first 5. I got lucky as hell, and I'll take it, damn it. And now everyone within 12 inches of them are stupid. That's awesome. Unfortunately, in order to cast that spell, I had 5 dice left. I had a total of 9 this turn, and I had to roll 5 dice in order to get it off because it's kind of a higher casting spell, and I end up miscasting 10, which makes me lose 3 wizard levels. I think all I had left when all was said and done was Quicksilver. That's it. I'm not 100%. Could be Enchanted Blades. Whatever it was, Skaz is now a level 1 wizard and is cross-eyed. So yeah, take that, Skaven. Take that. With magic just being done with, we go over to shooting, and I'm able to kill one of the Mad Gits with my Bombardiers. It was a lot of shots to kill one guy, but they are hard target and stuff like that, so I am at -2 to hit them. But I was able to kill one, and I feel good about that. And then we go into combat, and combat goes amazing! I kill a boatload of the feral orcs. In return, they're only able to kill a few of my scraplings and do 1 more wound to my merc vets. They are steadfast, I think. No, they are not steadfast. He loses this combat, obviously. He breaks, and he gets run down by my merc vets. Unfortunately, I also pursued with the scraplings, and when they turned the direction to chase, they ran over a Madgit, which isn't terrible, I guess, but I ended up losing 5 of them. But what's really funny is that the scraplings made their panic check on their own leadership. These guys are bloodthirsty. What's even better is that their pursue move slammed them into the goblins, which will help the 4 that are still alive. It will help in the combat against the goblins. And my Mercvets ended up pursuing into the Great Green Idols. So this combat went very well for me. This combat, however, did not. His goblins are able to kill all but 3 of my scraplings in my rightmost unit. They vape the unit on the left. And in return, I'm only able to kill 4 of his, which is totally fine. The scraplings did great. I lose this combat to a point where I think I auto-break. However, he tests to restrain, and he makes his check, and he turns to face the Mercvets, which he has every intention in the world of flank charging next turn, and it is his turn next. As you can see, the scraplings that survived make it through Skaz's Spazzes. They're insignificant and don't cause a panic, but damn. You know what? They did good, though. I'm not upset. So we go over here to top before after movement, and there's a decent amount. His big old unit of 60 goblins slam into the flank of my Mercvets. And I'm a little concerned about this. However, I have hope, because if I can just have my BSB and 1 Mercvet survive, they have Bodyguard. So they'll stay, hopefully, on a rerollable 8, because my general is out of range. One of his Madgits near Skaz's Spazzes rolls doubles and dies. One of the ones up top on the left that was released from his 30-man brick rolls doubles and dies. And the other one... No, I'm sorry, that's not true. The other one, he doesn't roll doubles. He slams into the house and dies. And the other one heads towards the skewers, but falls literally an inch short. So he's a huge tease, and I don't respect him. The trolls, I think, are stupid or just end up staying right where they're at. The goblins in the ruins do the same thing, and his wrecking team starts making his way down that alley in order to finally get into me and start wrecking me as a team. So that's something to look forward to. There's a better picture of his goblins slamming into the flank of my Mercvet unit and my BSB, and I'm really hoping that Bodyguard saves me here. And there's a better picture of his trolls failing their stupidity check, which was awesome. Nothing happens in the magic phase because I am a magic stopping master. Or he just rolled poorly and I rolled better than him. In any case, we go into shooting, and his skewers way back there in the distance fire at the good old boys with my general and hit and end up doing a total of 2 wounds to the unit. Not enough to kill anybody, but enough to piss them off. So we go into combat over here, and it does not go well. My poor mercs, man. I don't even mind telling you. I think I'm able to kill 4 or 5 of the goblins, and I think I put another wound or 2 through with the with Khan into the Great Green Idol. But look at this roll. This is my to wound roll with the like the 10 hits or something like that I got off on the goblins, something silly. And no, it wasn't with the goblins. It was something, but it's my to wound roll, and I mean 6 different ones, or maybe it was my to hit roll. One of the rolls that I rolled, like I had 10 dice and I rolled 6 ones. I mean, it's like the dice gods know I know they're there, and they still need to prove to me that they're watching, and they hate me. As you can see, my 1 Mercvet has 1 wound left. My BSB is fine; he's untouchable, and I only stay. I lose this combat by like 42, and I only stay because the unit has Bodyguard, and they're alive. I got 1 model left in your rank and file, and I got my BSB in there. So Bodyguard kicks in, I make my break check, and I stick it out. Bodyguard for the win. With that, we go over here to bottom of 4 after movement, and yeah, it's go time. Skaz and his Spazzes finally man up, thank you Skaven, and charges into the flank of the goblins. They're there to kick ass, take names. Rufus, who is sick and tired of waiting, charge into the trolls. else. You know what? They didn't like seeing their trapper buddies get killed. They don't like the fact that the trolls are there. And honestly, Rufus wasn't doing anything else. So I risked the ruins to send Rufus in and make it beautifully. I was very pleased. Bow Wowzer goes into the ruins as well, risking the dangerous terrain, and makes his check anyway, to block the goblins from hitting Rufus in the flank, and that's his job. He's a good boy. My bombardiers don't move at all, so they can shoot at the wrecking team, hopefully killing it before anything bad, or it can do anything bad. And then my general and his unit decide now's the time to be stupid. And they trundle forward like 3 inches. What can you do? The BSB was out of range, and I decided to roll boxcars. Hey, man's got to roll. What can I tell you? Also, I believe my scraplings rally on the hill on their own damn leadership cut in half. How crazy is that? But yeah, that's it for movement. There's a better picture of Skaz and the Spazzes joining this fight and hopefully saving my Merc Vets and my BSB. There's a better picture of my general's unit deciding that being stupid would be the appropriate choice for this turn. And there's a better picture of Rufus slamming into the trolls. Gonna have to finish what Transmutation of Gold started. During the magic phase, I fire off the only spell I have left, Creeping Corrosion. His goblin general is right there in that unit of Spider Riders. I figured, why not? He's probably got a higher armor save. He is the general, so I permanently lower that unit's armor save by 1. Yay me. During the shooting phase, the bombardiers fire at the gnashing wrecking team there, and you know what? They hit a ton, and then I decided to roll like butt in order to wound, and I only put 1 wound on him. So this thing's still alive and fully functional. That's not the bombardier's fault, though. That's mine. With that, we bring our happy behinds into combat, and Rufus smashes one of the trolls to death, because Rufus is the man. In return, he takes 2 wounds, but charge in 3 wounds to 2 wounds. I win by 2, and because the general's right there, the trolls stick. But I'm pretty sure Rufus can finish this guy off. Over here, I forgot to mention that in my opponent's last magic phase, he did get Mind Razor off on the goblins. So, not the greatest thing in the world to happen to me. He did turn to face my guys, and he was able to do quite a bit of damage. He killed 2 tribesmen, and his Great Green Idol finished off my general. I'm sorry, not my general, my Merc Vets. In return, though, I was able to slaughter almost 20 goblins. I win this combat. The Green Idol auto breaks. He just lost by too much. But the goblins, they did turn to face last time because they knew Skaz and the Spaz were coming in. So they were steadfast and they stuck. But you know what? That's fine. After a couple of turns, I'm hoping to be able to finish them off. I do see my opponent's general thinking about coming in. That's why I did not turn to face with my con, because I didn't want him to get a rear, just because I'm weird like that. So I figured this was the safer bet. With that, we go over here to top of 5 after movement, and there's a little bit. His general does come into the flank of my BSB. I don't know if that's really going to help him out or not. I'm worried a little bit that his general is going to issue a challenge and has some sort of, mutilating D6 wounds type of thing. But it's a risk that I don't have a choice but to take. His Gnasher Wrecking team bounces through the combat there and is now going to go all random movement on me because, unfortunately, I couldn't roll well enough to kill the damn thing with the bombardiers. His other unit of goblins charge into the ruins to get a hold of Bow Wowzer, and I think they lose 4 or 5 goblins for their trouble. I think it was just 1 shy from taking a panic check, which is too bad because that would have been awesome. His Great Green Idol rallies, and that's really it. He's got a couple of mad gets that twirl around in the left there, top corner, but they don't really do anything, and they don't do anything for the rest of the game. That's it for movement. There's a better picture of his wrecking team going through this combat. He kills a tribesman, and I think he kills 3 goblins, maybe. Yeah, because he did 7 wounds. He did 4 onto the tribesmen, 3 onto the goblins, and did 3 to me, 3 to the goblins. That hurt. And there's a better picture of the goblins slamming into Bow Wowzer. They are actually up where my dog is. It's just that particular piece of terrain makes it impossible to get the tray in there, so we know where they're at. Nothing happens in magic or shooting, so we go straight into combat, and needless to say, the Bow Wowser gets murdered by the goblins. But he didn't he didn't go down without a fight. He did take out 2 or 3 before they took him out. So I'm very impressed with the dogs. They can do quite well when not up against rank and file units like this. In combat over here, it goes a little left field. Poor Rufus. Every wound he did, my opponent was able to save with either armor or regen. In return, Rufus got a whole bunch of troll vomit tossed on him, takes a wound, loses combat by 1, but sticks. It's okay. I still have faith in Rufus. And then right here, I do end up in a challenge with my BSB and his general. I slip a wound through on his general. He does nothing to con. And in return, I kill, as you can see, like 20 more goblins. They kill 1 more tribesman, so 20 for 1. That's not terrible. The goblins are steadfast and make their check. However, the general's unit is not, and he breaks. Bounces through everything, bounces through Rufus, bounces through the ruins, and takes another wound on his general. That's it. He made all his other checks. And the goblins do not panic from the unit fleeing through them. So, lucky for my opponent, I suppose. You know, a lot of it has to do with his Great Green Idol. It has an 18-inch range for the inspiring, for the hold your ground rule for the BSB. That's really what's been saving him this game, that re-rolling leadership check. Very cool unit. So here we are, bottom of 5 after movement, and there's a little bit. My general's unit starts moving over to the left side just in case Rufus gets blasted. Just back up just in case. The bombardiers wheel slightly. Well, they wheel their full wheel ability and still being able to shoot in order to try to shoot the wrecking team. And that's really it. My chariot does move a little bit, so it can try to fire a cannonball down the flank there of the Goblin General's unit. My cannon has been hitting every single round on a 5 or a 6. It's been beautiful. The problem is I'm rolling a 1 to wound. It's literally happened 3 turns in a row now, and it's breaking my heart. Nothing happens in magic because I just don't want to risk it. So we go into shooting, and my bombardiers shoot at this thing and put another wound on it. I'm just rolling no to wound. I'm rolling high to hit, but to wound, that just seems to be beyond me today. But I still really like the bombardiers, so they're not going anywhere. It's not their fault I'm rolling like poop. So now we enter combat, and Rufus is able to slip a wound through on the troll. In return, the troll is unable to puke on Rufus in any way that hurts him. I only win by 1, because I've done a wound to the troll's nothing. I feel really good about that, because his general's fleeing, and the troll's leadership is like 4, so he needs a 3 with a reroll to stay. And he doesn't. He flees, and he gets away! He rolls like, I think he goes 10 or 11 inches to Rufus's like 7 or something like that, so he gets away by a lot. It's unfortunate because now Rufus's flank is exposed to the Great Green Idol, but, well, you'll see what happens. And then in this combat over here with the remaining unit of goblins, the tribesmen and BSB are able to finish them off without another casualty, which is awesome. We kill them to a man, take the points, and then turn to face. I got my BSB facing towards the troll and the Great Green Idol, and I got Skaz and his Spazzes backing him up. Skaz and his Spazzes really, really came through for me in this game, and I'm proud of you, Skaven and AZ. I'm very proud of you. So we go over to top of 6, and after some deliberation, my opponent decides discretion is the better part of valor, and backs off. He doesn't charge, he takes his Great Green Idol and moves it the hell away. His troll rallies, his general rallies, then his troll rallies. His general has that item that gives him an 18-inch inspiring presence. His goblins and everything just kind of hangs tight. And just for the record, my cannon fired, hit his general, and I rolled another 1 to wound. So, consistency, I respect it. So that's it. Nothing else happens at all in this turn. So, we go to the bottom of 6 after movement. My BSB charges his troll because that son of a bitch isn't getting away. Rufus charges his Git thrower because I want the points. My general's unit moves up a little bit. The bombardiers stay where they're at. During my opponent's phase, his wrecking team did bounce through the bombardiers and do a couple of wounds to him. That was it. And that's really it for movement. Nothing happens in magic because I don't want to risk it, so we go into shooting, and my cannon fires at the general's unit. He have moved a turn, so I hit the rank and file first. Wouldn't you know it, I roll, and I wound and kill one guy, and then at strength 5, I need a 2 to kill the next one, and I roll a 1. So my consistency is getting better at least, and I killed a spider. I feel good about that. Over here, Khan, that magnificent bastard. He in combat, he is able to finish off this troll, murders him, cuts him in half, doesn't make his armor, doesn't make his regen, just rips him in half. God bless Khan. Then over here, Rufus finishes it up strong by taking out the Git launcher that had malfunctioned earlier in the game. And yeah, I'm glad Rufus could make the final kill. He deserved it. And there it is. There's the end of the game. As you can see, it was a pretty brutal fight on both ends, but it looks like I came out on top. Excellent game. Really, really fun. I'm really digging a new list. Dude, your suggestion for the new kit on Lord Tremendous was phenomenal. I'm really enjoying the Khan the way he is. I'm enjoying you know, the new lore. Well, I'm kind of enjoying the Path of Alchemy. What I'm learning from the Path of Alchemy is that everything is really expensive. It's devastating, but it's really expensive, and therefore you're going to miscast a lot more. So I don't know if I'm going to keep using it or not, because believe it or not, Skaz actually means a lot to me, and I don't like to kill him with miscasts. But you know what? We're going to get into the recap, because right now this game is over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Alright, so as you could tell, it was a victory for Lord Tremendous. I got 2,176 points out of him, he got 1,000 even out of me, for a difference of 1,176. I ended up losing Lord Tremendous, all my scraplings, my trappers, Bow Wowser, my Merc Vets, and half points for Rufus. This was a pretty good showing for me, I won't lie. You know, even though it wasn't wounded, I'm still very fond of the cannon. It rolled 1 to wound 3 turns in a row, 3 or 4 turns in a row. It was like, what the hell? However, it was hitting. I was just, unfortunately, my dice were having fun with me and decided that wounding was just something else that somebody else had to do. It was a little crazy, but I'm okay with it. I'm still going to use the cannon. I've got an idea on how to fix that wound thing, but I won't implement that for a game or two. The new kit on Lord Tremendous is pretty good. I do miss Lethal Strike, I do miss the Heart Ripper, but I do not miss Stupidity on him. When the General failed his Stupidity roll, it was not a big deal. If Tremendous had, which he has in the past, it's really bad. So thank you to Danny Stewart for the suggestion in the forums. I'm probably going to use this kit for a little while. I do like it. Good call, man. Some cool stuff shown here by my opponent. I didn't even know the Great Green Idol was a thing. But the fact that it was, and it was a monster, and that it was his BSB, that was really cool. I like that that is there. The goblins with Mind Razor was scary. He tore up Skaz and the Spazzes. Not to mention my poor Merc Vets. I'm really enjoying this list. I still want to tinker with it. I can't stop myself. But I'm really enjoying this current iteration of the list. I like having Berserk in the list. So I'm thinking this is going to be more of the core. But I've said that before. We'll see what happens. This was an absolutely outstanding game, as you saw. It was a ton of fun the entire time. This is one of my favorite opponents. I mean, I really look forward to playing against this guy. It's always a good time, and I never know what he's going to bring. And as always, I cannot wait for our rematch. Alright guys, I want to bring up Hidden Dreams Indiegogo. It's a Sylvan Elves Indiegogo project. They've got some stunning Sylvan Elf models out there. Or, you know, they could work for any kind of elf. I mean, they all look alike anyway, right? But at least this way, they look damn good while they're all looking alike. And for like $10, they pro-paint it to your specifications. Or just describe to them what you're going for, and they'll use their own creativity to do it as well. So you can get brand new models at below retail cost, pro-painted for $10, and it's going to be gorgeous. Out of all the people that play elves, you will be the one they envy. These are multi-part models. They come with a lot of different options so that you can make your weedy little elves as cool as they could possibly be. I mean, honestly, the weapons alone are worth getting into this. Look at some of that stuff. Bottom line is, if you have elves, you're thinking about getting into elves, or you just want to be less ashamed of fielding your elves, get into this Indiegogo campaign. Do yourself a favor, get yourself some badass models, help a great company, help yourself, and tell them Tremendous sent you. Alright guys, before I sign off, I would be very remiss if I did not thank everyone that backs me financially, both on Patreon and in PayPal, and in other ways. These are the individuals I'm allowed to thank on my channel: Alex of the Vale Renegades, South Florida's Gamermancy team, and Daniel Jolson. Thank you guys very, very much. I appreciate it. Super, super amounts of appreciation. All the appreciation. And if you guys want to donate to the channel, you go to Patreon. There's a link on my homepage. There's a link in the description. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. My content will always be free. And yeah, it just helps my hobby get better. So yeah. Thanks, guys. But that's it. Battle Report number 36 is officially in the history books. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. But yeah, guys, thanks.